Welcome to today's video, where we dive deep into one of the most insightful and transformative books of our time, the Almanack of Naval Ravikant by Eric Jorgenson. This book is more than just a collection of thoughts. It's a masterclass in wealth building, personal happiness, and achieving a life of meaning. Naval Ravikant, a renowned entrepreneur, investor, and philosopher, has distilled decades of experience and wisdom into simple, powerful principles that anyone can apply. If you're seeking clarity on how to build wealth, cultivate lasting happiness, and navigate the complexities of life, this book is your roadmap. In the Almanack, Naval emphasizes that wealth isn't just about financial success, but about having freedom. Freedom from money, from work, and from societal expectations. He also challenges us to rethink our approach to happiness, teaching us that true contentment comes from within, not from external achievements or possessions. In this video, we'll explore Naval's key ideas on building wealth through leverage, specific knowledge, and long-term thinking, finding happiness by mastering your mind and detaching from desires, and the timeless principles that govern success and personal growth. Let's begin. Part 1. Introduction. The introduction of the Almanack of Naval Ravikant sets the tone for the entire book by presenting Naval Ravikant's philosophy on life, success, and happiness. It explains that Naval is not just an entrepreneur and investor, but a thinker who has developed profound insights into achieving both wealth and happiness in a balanced, meaningful way. Naval believes that wealth is not merely about money, but about the freedom to do what you want, when you want, with whom you want. He has spent years distilling complex ideas into simple, actionable wisdom, and this book serves as a collection of his most impactful thoughts, drawn from podcasts, interviews, and tweets. The introduction highlights that this almanac isn't a traditional book, but rather a curated compilation of Naval's ideas, crafted in a way that's meant to inspire reflection and action in the reader. The introduction also emphasizes the importance of individuality and self-reliance. Naval encourages people to carve their own paths by focusing on personal strengths and passions rather than following conventional societal norms. He advocates for the idea that wealth and happiness come from within and can be achieved by mastering your mind and leveraging specific knowledge that is unique to you. This sets the stage for the rest of the book, where Naval breaks down how to build wealth without sacrificing personal well-being, and how to cultivate lasting happiness by simplifying life and focusing on the things that truly matter. The introduction, thus, provides a glimpse into Naval's overarching belief that anyone can create a fulfilling and prosperous life with the right mindset and approach. Part 2. Building Wealth. In the Almanack of Naval Ravikant, the section on building wealth is one of the most impactful and actionable parts of the book. Naval Ravikant provides a unique perspective on wealth creation that goes beyond the traditional notions of working hard or saving money. Instead, he introduces concepts like leverage, specific knowledge, accountability, and long-term thinking, which he believes are essential to achieving true financial freedom. This section explains that wealth is not just about having a lot of money. It's about having the freedom to live life on your own terms, without being bound by time, location, or obligations to others. Understand how wealth is created. Naval starts by emphasizing that wealth is created through value generation, not through hourly work. This is a fundamental distinction, because most people think that working harder or putting in more hours will lead to more wealth. However, Naval explains that true wealth comes from creating systems, businesses, or products that generate value even when you're not actively working. For example, software companies or online platforms allow entrepreneurs to scale their ideas to millions of users without requiring constant effort. He highlights that society will pay you in proportion to the value you create, but creating value requires solving problems that people are willing to pay for. Therefore, one of the key components of wealth creation is identifying opportunities where you can provide significant value, which often means solving complex problems that not many people can solve. For instance, tech entrepreneurs like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos built their wealth by tackling huge challenges, such as space exploration and global e-commerce, which created massive value for society. Play long-term games. Naval encourages playing long-term games with long-term people. This principle revolves around building relationships and businesses that compound in value over time. In a world where instant gratification is common, Naval stresses that wealth is built by making decisions that may not pay off immediately, but will yield significant returns over time. He suggests that the biggest gains come from efforts that compound, such as investing in relationships, businesses, and learning new skills. For example, consider Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors in history. His investment strategy focuses on buying and holding high-quality companies for long periods, allowing the value of his investments to grow exponentially over time. Similarly, Naval emphasizes that wealth creation is not a short-term game, but a long-term process where the real benefits come from compounding efforts and knowledge. Playing long-term games also means aligning with people who share your values and are committed to the same goals, as trust and mutual benefit can lead to sustainable success. Learn to sell and learn to build. Naval distills the essence of wealth creation into two skills: learning to sell and learning to build. He explains that almost everything in business boils down to creating something valuable, building, and convincing people of its value, selling. These are the two foundational skills that drive the economy. Building refers to creating products, services, or systems that have tangible value, while selling is about effectively communicating that value to others, whether in the form of marketing, sales, or even storytelling. For example, Steve Jobs was known for his incredible ability to sell, while his partner, Steve Wozniak, was a genius builder. Together, they built Apple, one of the most valuable companies in the world. Similarly, Naval argues that if you can master either of these two skills, you will always be valuable in the marketplace. Ideally, mastering both makes you unstoppable because you can create value and convince others to pay for it, giving you tremendous leverage. Embrace accountability and take on risk. One of the most important principles Naval discusses is accountability, which means taking personal responsibility for the outcomes of your actions. Naval believes that in order to create outsized rewards, you must embrace accountability and take on risk. People who are willing to take on responsibility and risk are the ones who get to reap the most significant rewards. However, with accountability comes the need for integrity and transparency, as your reputation becomes tied to the results you deliver. Naval gives the example of successful entrepreneurs who take risks by starting their own companies. They bear the financial and operational risks, but if their ventures succeed, they stand to gain far more than if they had stayed in secure, salary positions. He also points out that accountability is a double-edged sword. While it can lead to great wealth, it can also expose you to failure. Therefore, those who succeed are the ones who can handle both the ups and downs and continue moving forward despite challenges. Learn specific knowledge. Naval introduces the idea of specific knowledge, which he defines as knowledge that is highly specialized and cannot be easily taught or transferred. Specific knowledge often comes from pursuing your unique interests and passions rather than following a predefined path. It is a type of knowledge that is hard to automate or outsource because it is so specialized and deeply personal. For example, being a world-class chef, artist, or software engineer requires specific knowledge that comes from years of practice and experience, rather than formal education. Naval points out that traditional education and careers often train people in generalized skills that can easily be replaced by automation or cheaper labor. On the other hand, people who possess specific knowledge, such as top-tier engineers in AI or experts in a niche area of business, are far more valuable in today's economy. The key to building wealth is to focus on developing this type of specialized knowledge, which makes you irreplaceable and allows you to charge a premium for your skills or services. Play long-term games with long-term people. Naval reiterates the importance of surrounding yourself with people who have high integrity and are playing long-term games. He explains that building wealth requires trust, and trust is only built with people who consistently demonstrate reliability, honesty, and shared values. Whether in business partnerships, investments, or friendships, working with people who have a long-term mindset creates a foundation for compounding success. For example, in the world of venture capital, Investors like Peter Thiel and Mark Andreessen focus on building long-term relationships with entrepreneurs and companies. They understand that real value takes time to materialize, and they invest in people and projects they believe will succeed over the long run. In your own life, this might mean choosing to collaborate with people who prioritize integrity and mutual success, rather than those who are only looking for short-term gains. Compound yourself. Naval explains that compounding is one of the most powerful forces in building wealth. However, he doesn't just refer to financial compounding. He also means compounding in terms of personal growth, skills, and relationships. By continuously learning and improving, you are compounding your abilities, which increases your value over time. Compounding also applies to reputation and trust, as these are built through consistent actions over long periods. A real-world example of compounding can be seen in how successful entrepreneurs like Bill Gates and Elon Musk continued to build upon their knowledge, skills, and networks over decades. Their early ventures may have given them initial success, but it was their relentless pursuit of improvement and growth that allowed them to create lasting wealth. Naval encourages everyone to adopt this mindset of continuous improvement, whether through reading, practicing, or building new relationships. Find and build leverage. Leverage is another central concept in Naval's philosophy of wealth building. Leverage allows you to multiply your efforts without increasing your workload. Naval identifies three main types of leverage: labor, capital, and products with no marginal cost of replication, like software or media. Each type of leverage can help you scale your output and achieve disproportionate rewards for the same amount of effort. For instance, owning a business or managing a team is an example of labor leverage. You are using other people's time and skills to multiply your own productivity. Capital leverage refers to using money to make more money, such as through investments or entrepreneurship. The third form, products with no marginal cost of replication, includes things like writing a book, creating a software app, or starting a YouTube channel. Once you've created the product, it can be sold or shared infinitely without any additional cost. Naval urges people to focus on building leverage, as it is the key to generating exponential returns on your time and effort. Be patient. Finally, Naval reminds us of the importance of patience in the wealth-building process. He stresses that wealth creation is a long-term game and that people often fail because they give up too soon. Naval advises adopting a mindset where you are willing to work hard without expecting immediate rewards, understanding that real success comes over decades, not months or years. He also notes that wealth creation is not a linear process. It often happens in fits and starts, with long periods of groundwork followed by sudden breakthroughs. A powerful example of this is seen in the world of startups. Many entrepreneurs work for years without any visible success, but when their product or service finally gains traction, the results are exponential. Consider companies like Uber or Airbnb, which took years to build but became global phenomena seemingly overnight. Naval encourages people to be patient and trust the process, as the rewards for persistence can be immense. Basically, Naval Ravikant's principles for building wealth revolve around long-term thinking, accountability, leveraging your unique strengths, and creating systems that generate value over time. By focusing on specific knowledge, embracing leverage, and playing long-term games with the right people, anyone can begin to build sustainable wealth. Naval's approach challenges the conventional ideas of wealth creation by shifting the focus from short-term gains and traditional career paths to a mindset of continuous growth, creativity, and freedom. If you internalize these principles, you can achieve not only financial success, but also the freedom to live life on your own terms. Part 3. Happiness. In the Almanack of Naval Ravikant, the section on happiness explores a profound and often misunderstood concept. True happiness is internal. Naval Ravikant argues that while many people chase external rewards, money, status, success, and relationships, they are often overlooking the real source of contentment, which comes from within. Happiness is a skill that can be developed, just like building wealth, but the process requires a shift in mindset and a deep understanding of human nature. This section highlights the importance of inner peace, mental clarity, and detaching from external desires to create a lasting sense of joy and fulfillment. Naval emphasizes that happiness, much like wealth, is a practice that must be nurtured and cultivated deliberately over time. Happiness is a choice and a skill. Naval begins by asserting that happiness is not something you can find in external circumstances or material possessions. It is a choice you make and a skill that you can practice. Most people believe that happiness comes after achieving certain goals, getting a promotion, buying a house, or finding the perfect partner. However, Naval explains that this is a trap because external circumstances are temporary and ever-changing. Instead, he argues that happiness should be cultivated internally through conscious effort and practice. For example, imagine two people with similar financial success. One person is constantly stressed, anxious, and never satisfied, always striving for the next achievement. The other person, despite having the same material wealth, is calm, content, and at peace. The difference lies not in their external circumstances, but in how they choose to respond to those circumstances. Naval's point is that happiness is less about what happens to us and more about how we react to what happens. This mindset shift allows individuals to stop chasing external validation and start focusing on developing a resilient and peaceful inner life. Naval suggests that we treat happiness like a skill, practicing it daily just as we would with physical fitness or learning a new hobby. For instance, one can practice mindfulness, gratitude, or meditation to train the mind to focus on the present moment and appreciate what is rather than what isn't. By regularly cultivating this mindset, happiness becomes less dependent on external outcomes and more grounded in the internal state of the individual. Redefine success and happiness. Another key concept that Naval introduces is redefining success and happiness. Many people believe that success is tied to wealth, status, or material achievements, but Naval argues that this definition leads to endless dissatisfaction. He explains that success, in the traditional sense, is a relative term. No matter how much you achieve, there will always be someone who is more. This creates a never-ending cycle of comparison, where happiness is always just out of reach because it is tied to external achievements. Take the example of a successful business executive who earns millions of dollars, but is constantly stressed, overworked, and dissatisfied. Despite having everything society defines as success, money, power, and influence, this person is not happy. In contrast, another individual might live a simple life, with fewer material possessions but greater contentment because they redefine success on their own terms. Naval encourages people to shift their focus away from societal definitions of success and instead align their lives with their own values, passions, and sense of purpose. In doing so, happiness becomes more attainable because it is not tied to things outside of one's control. This approach is particularly relevant in today's world, where social media often amplifies feelings of inadequacy by constantly presenting idealized versions of other people's lives. By redefining success as something personal and internal, such as living in alignment with your values, maintaining meaningful relationships, or achieving a sense of inner peace, you free yourself from the endless cycle of comparison and start to experience true happiness. Escape the hedonic treadmill. Naval also discusses a concept of the hedonic treadmill, which refers to the human tendency to quickly return to a baseline level of happiness after positive or negative events. People believe that acquiring more money, possessions, or achievements will make them happy, but once they achieve those things, their happiness levels soon return to where they were before. This leads to a constant pursuit of more success, more recognition, more material goods, in an effort to feel happy again. However, Naval warns that this cycle is exhausting and ultimately unfulfilling. A clear example of the hedonic treadmill can be seen in lottery winners. Many lottery winners initially experience a surge of happiness after receiving their winnings, but studies show that within a few months or years, their happiness levels return to what they were before, and in some cases, they become less happy due to the stresses and responsibilities that sudden wealth brings. Similarly, people who achieve career milestones or acquire luxury items may feel a temporary boost in happiness, but it quickly fades as they adjust to their new reality. To escape the hedonic treadmill, Naval suggests focusing on internal growth and personal development rather than external acquisitions. Practices like mindfulness, gratitude, and meditation help shift attention away from the endless pursuit of more and towards appreciating what one already has. By recognizing the futility of chasing happiness through material means, individuals can focus on cultivating a deeper sense of contentment that is less vulnerable to external circumstances. Peace comes from within. Naval emphasizes that lasting happiness comes from achieving inner peace, not from accumulating more things or achieving more goals. He describes peace as a state of mind where you are no longer in conflict with the world or with yourself. This peace comes from self-awareness, acceptance, and detachment from desires. Naval explains that the root of unhappiness is desire. We want things to be different from how they are, and this constant yearning creates suffering. For example, if you desire a bigger house, a better job, or a more attractive partner, you will likely be unhappy with what you currently have. Even if you achieve those desires, new desires will quickly replace them, perpetuating the cycle of dissatisfaction. Naval advises that the way to achieve peace is to detach from these desires, not by renouncing all ambition, but by accepting that fulfillment and happiness do not depend on achieving them. One way to cultivate inner peace is through meditation and mindfulness. By practicing mindfulness, individuals can learn to observe their thoughts and emotions without becoming attached to them. This allows them to break free from the constant desire for more and to find peace in the present moment. Another method is to practice acceptance, learning to accept things as they are, rather than constantly wishing they were different. This doesn't mean giving up on goals or aspirations, but rather learning to be content with what is, while still working toward personal growth. Happiness is a state of non-desire. Naval takes the idea of detachment further by proposing that happiness is a state of non-desire. He explains that desire creates a gap between your current state and where you want to be, and this gap is the source of dissatisfaction. When you desire something, you are essentially saying that you are not content with your current situation, and until that desire is fulfilled, you will experience a sense of lack or unhappiness. However, even when that desire is fulfilled, new desires will arise, keeping you in a perpetual state of dissatisfaction. For example, if you desire a new car, you might feel unhappy until you acquire it. Once you have the car, you may enjoy it for a while, but soon you'll find yourself desiring something else, perhaps a bigger house or a better job. Naval explains that this cycle of desire and fulfillment is endless unless you learn to let go of desire altogether. True happiness, he argues, comes not from fulfilling desires but from transcending them, being content with what you have and who you are in the present moment. Naval advises practicing gratitude as a way to counteract desire. By focusing on what you already have, rather than what you lack, you can shift your mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance. This doesn't mean you should stop pursuing goals or ambitions, but rather that you should find contentment and peace in the journey, rather than placing all your happiness on the achievement of specific outcomes. Happiness and freedom. Naval ties happiness closely to the concept of freedom. He believes that true happiness comes from being free from societal expectations, free from financial constraints, and most importantly, free from the constant demands of the mind. Naval describes mental freedom as the ability to control your thoughts and emotions rather than being controlled by them. This mental freedom is key to happiness because it allows you to remain at peace regardless of external circumstances. For example, many people are trapped by their thoughts and emotions. They may constantly worry about the future, regret the past, or feel anxious about things they cannot control. This mental chatter prevents them from being present and enjoying the moment. Naval explains that freedom from this mental noise is essential for happiness, and the way to achieve it is through mindfulness and meditation. By learning to quiet the mind and detach from unhelpful thoughts, individuals can experience a sense of inner peace and freedom that is not dependent on external conditions. Freedom also extends to how you live your life. Naval emphasizes the importance of creating a life that aligns with your values and desires, rather than conforming to societal expectations. For instance, Many people feel pressure to follow a conventional path, getting a stable job, buying a house, and starting a family, because that is what society deems successful. However, Naval encourages individuals to define success and happiness on their own terms, which might mean pursuing an unconventional career, traveling the world, or living a minimalist lifestyle. By breaking free from societal expectations, individuals can create a life that is truly fulfilling to them, rather than one dictated by external pressures. Cultivate self-awareness. One of the core tenets of Naval's approach to happiness is self-awareness. He argues that understanding yourself, your desires, fears, strengths, and weaknesses, is crucial to achieving happiness. Without self-awareness, people often chase things they think will make them happy, only to realize later that those things were never aligned with their true values or desires. For example, someone might spend years climbing the corporate ladder, believing that success and happiness are synonymous with career advancement. However, once they reach a high level of success, they may realize that the work doesn't fulfill them, and they are left feeling empty. Naval suggests that by cultivating self-awareness early on, individuals can avoid these traps and make choices that are aligned with their true selves, leading to greater happiness. Self-awareness also helps individuals recognize their own patterns of thought and behavior that may be contributing to their unhappiness. For instance, someone who is constantly comparing themselves to others on social media might not realize that this habit is fueling their dissatisfaction. By becoming more aware of these patterns, individuals can take steps to change them, such as reducing social media use or practicing gratitude for their own life. Basically, Naval Ravikant's approach to happiness emphasizes the importance of inner work, self-awareness, and mental freedom. Happiness, according to Naval, is not something you achieve through external success, wealth, or possessions, but something you cultivate from within. By practicing mindfulness, gratitude, and acceptance, individuals can break free from the cycle of desire and dissatisfaction and experience a deeper sense of peace and contentment. Ultimately, happiness is a choice, a skill that can be developed through intentional effort and practice, leading to a life of greater fulfillment and joy. Part 4. Philosophy in the Almanack of Naval Ravikant. Naval shares his views on philosophy, emphasizing the importance of developing personal mental models to navigate life. He believes that philosophy is the key to understanding the deeper truths about existence, decision-making, and how we approach success, happiness, and fulfillment. Rather than relying solely on external teachings or societal norms, Naval advocates for self-inquiry and introspection. He encourages people to question everything, challenge their assumptions, and seek clarity about their values and beliefs. Naval's philosophy is rooted in practical wisdom, blending Eastern teachings like Buddhism with modern insights. He stresses the significance of living a life that aligns with one's core values, avoiding mindless conformity, and instead pursuing truth and personal growth. His views also reflect a Stoic attitude, emphasizing emotional resilience and the power of letting go of things outside one's control. In his view, by stripping away external distractions and false beliefs, individuals can find greater peace, freedom, and happiness. Philosophy, for Naval, is not just abstract thinking but a toolkit for better living, helping people create meaning and purpose in an often chaotic world. Part 5. Health. In the Almanack of Naval Ravikant, health is presented as an essential foundation for achieving happiness and success. Naval emphasizes that physical health directly impacts mental well-being and overall quality of life. He advocates for a holistic approach to health, encompassing not only physical fitness but also mental and emotional well-being. This means prioritizing regular exercise, maintaining a balanced diet, and ensuring adequate rest and recovery. Naval also highlights the importance of mental health, encouraging practices such as mindfulness and meditation to foster clarity and emotional resilience. He believes that a healthy mind enables individuals to make better decisions and navigate life's challenges more effectively. Furthermore, he stresses the need to avoid harmful habits, such as excessive drinking or substance abuse, which can detract from both physical and mental health. By prioritizing health, Individuals can enhance their productivity and creativity, allowing them to pursue their passions and achieve their goals. Naval's message is clear. Investing in one's health is a prerequisite for a fulfilling life. By cultivating both physical and mental well-being, individuals can create a strong foundation for personal growth, happiness, and lasting success. 6. Closing thoughts. In the Almanack of Naval Ravikant, the closing thoughts encapsulate the essence of Naval's teachings on wealth, happiness, and personal philosophy. He encourages readers to embrace the journey of self-discovery and to take responsibility for their own lives. Naval emphasizes that true fulfillment stems from within and is shaped by the choices we make. Rather than seeking validation from external sources, individuals are urged to cultivate a strong sense of self and align their actions with their values and aspirations. Naval's insights inspire readers to challenge conventional wisdom and pursue a life that resonates with their unique desires and goals. He underscores the importance of continuous learning, adaptability, and a growth mindset in navigating life's complexities. By adopting a holistic approach to life, balancing the pursuit of wealth with the cultivation of happiness and health, individuals can forge a path that leads to authentic fulfillment. Ultimately, Naval's message is one of empowerment. We have the agency to create our own destinies, and by embracing this power, we can lead lives filled with purpose, joy, and meaning. As we wrap up this journey through the Almanack of Naval Ravikant, one thing becomes clear. Success and happiness are not destinations but lifelong practices. Naval teaches us that building wealth is about far more than accumulating money. It's about creating freedom through leverage, specific knowledge, and long-term thinking. But even more profound is his perspective on happiness. True contentment comes not from external accomplishments, but from mastering your inner world. Naval's wisdom reminds us that it's crucial to embrace accountability, take risks, and continuously learn, while also detaching from desires that trap us in an endless cycle of dissatisfaction. His approach is a refreshing blend of practical advice and timeless philosophy, teaching us how to live a rich, fulfilling life on our own terms. The real power of the Almanac lies in its simplicity. Naval's principles are actionable and can be applied by anyone, regardless of where they are in life. Whether you're focused on achieving financial freedom, cultivating personal happiness, or navigating life's challenges, Naval's insights serve as a guide for achieving both inner peace and external success. Thank you for watching. If you found value in this summary, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more insights on books that can help you grow. And remember, wealth is not about having more, but about needing less, and happiness is something you create, not something you chase.